stay.
Hello, I'm Mia Enell. I'm an artist participating in Unseen, an exhibition curated by Stephanie Kim, where I'll be presenting 3 works. Yes, there'll be one drawing called Red Yarn and 2 large paintings. One is called Pink Bird and the other one is called Deeply.
Mm-hmm.
Generally speaking, my work is very open. I tend to keep it open so that people with different experiences can come to it and see things that are both the things I put in the work, but also that it reflects what they have experienced and what they're thinking. And I've seen these over the years I worked. That is actually happening well this way. And these are works that I've done the way I normally work. I don't work after a theme particularly. I work with things that have been deeply digested into me and that asks to come out. So the painting Deeply here behind me is a painting that reflects what we feel when something has touched us in such a deep way that our guts speak more than our mind or our thoughts or anything. It's just that deep feeling of the body speaks. The body says, I'm not well, And at the same time, this woman is standing very straight and like a statue, confident in many ways. And there is a blue light blue window between her arms that for me represents hope and possibilities too. So it's not only negative. And this blends very much with where I come from, which is not Korea. I come from Sweden. And things that are very difficult or to a point of absurd or surreal often needs humor, and we use humor sometimes in a way to approach things that are difficult, and poetry is another way, and so Deeply is a mix of many things that asks to come out in my work. It's a very long story, but both my parents were artists, so I grew up in painter studios, and we lived in 3 places in Sweden, in Gothenburg, in the deep forests, back to nature, and also in Antwerp, in Belgium, after, during the late 60s, 70s. And so I saw a lot of art that was both Swedish, Scandinavian tradition and European, and then when I eventually went to art school in Stockholm after that, I wanted to go to Paris to study. It was a culture a little different from mine, very international city, and I discovered a French and Italian way of painting that was different from the Scandinavian tradition or Germanic tradition. I also discovered Asian art. I discovered, American art, and Paris at the time was not the really focused on painting. I did visit London a lot too, Germany, where people were painting still, but in Paris the thought most people were working with photography or other mediums, installations started coming and so on, and very intellectual approach to art. I think they've had so much painting in their history that they needed to free themselves up. This said, there were classical studies that were possible. There were some great art teachers, really. So I stayed there, and I spent 10 years working with great people and for important artists such as Annette Messager, who I have so deep respect for her and her work. And then I first was invited to come to New York, actually already in '92, by John Coppola, an artist who came to guest teach in Paris. So I came over to New York quickly for a short residency in '92, thanks to John. And then I tried to come to New York because there was a lot of painting going on here, and in '98 I moved here. So that is sort of like a mix of different cultures, but still, we're quite international. And when I came here, I met New York City, which is, the capital of the world in many ways in the arts. I thought, so I've stayed here for 25 years now.
Amazing.
Yeah. How my work.
Yeah, the red yarn.
How it relates to the subject. I think when you, Stephanie, curator, came to see the show, you noticed that drawing right away. It was in an exhibition, a solo show I had, and for me, that drawing was about a childhood memory first. Of doing this game with the threads, but it's more than that. It was the tension between the hands, and the yarn is red, and so there is a lot of unspoken things going into that, and also just the physical presence and tension in the drawing, which is both strong and poetic at the same time. Open-ended, but we can all, many people can relate to this experience, but it's between the hands. And a lot of things, when we talk with our hands, the hands, interpret a lot of things.
It's like an extension of you.
No. It is an extension. It's also a movement. That there's so much in very simple things. So my work often appears very simple, but it's distilled. So this drawing or my paintings, at first you go, oh yes, that's my childhood memory. But then as you start thinking about it, there are many, many connections. And yes, it is the unseen between the hands, Yeah, it's very mysterious even to me, because the way I work is that things ask to come out. And it's sometimes even after I start realizing what it is that brought me there. So I don't plan in my head how to work when I start a painting. It's more like I need to be in a meditative stage where something larger than me comes through me, like I'm a vector. And I follow the line, I follow where it takes me, and it's really fun and beautiful. So it's all freehand. There is no projection of an image that I trace in. It is, even at this large format, I work freehand. And so there are two women that are looking into a dark way, or is it one woman turning in movement back and forth? Question mark. I like that fact that we can't fully put the finger on things. We feel it, we know it inside, but we can't always find the words. And painting is a language in itself. So I don't think it's necessary to spell everything out. Yes, a writer can do that about my work, that's their perspective on it. A curator like you can put things together that makes a meaning. And my meaning is to be the language of that silence, of that poetry. And I had finished almost the whole painting, and then there was something missing. There is the surreal, strange foxtail in the corner, there are the wings of possibility, there is the flow of connection like water, or the spine is often where a lot of things are gathered and stayed. But then all of a sudden I was just sitting looking at the painting, and all of a sudden the pink bird appeared. My personal experience is coming from Sweden, where I felt that women and men were completely equal when I grew up. This doesn't mean that everything felt fair or that everybody was just one thing. There are men and there are women in Sweden, and that will never change. The Swedes are Vikings after all, there is this myth. But it was not a hierarchy, and there was nothing, it was very open, and so I thought the whole world was like that. So when I moved to Paris, things were so different, and it seems like very close if you're not from Europe, France to Sweden, but for me it was very, very different how things functioned. And then I had friends that were from, at the Art Academy, that was from, Algeria, or from Asia or from Africa or from, so all of a sudden the perspective of this, well, I started thinking about it. So human rights, I never thought of feminism because my grandmother's generation in Sweden were the ones that fought under that name or title, how you would say, feminism. I just thought it was human rights in a very natural way. We're all humans, so it should be called human rights. And that goes for women and for men, whoever is, whenever things are to a level of being, truly not right, I based my work on personal experiences, and I started being afraid that it would be too much me, myself, and I. But the more I deep dove into this, it became universal. I realized that a lot of people can relate to these type of experiences, and actually letting go of that fear of being too close to myself just opened things up dramatically. And so that is how I work. And it doesn't just have to come from me, a conversation with someone else's experiences. So what you see in my work is not only my work and my experience, but it's things that touch me and get stuck inside of me and marinate and come out in different shapes, with time. So it's not just chewing it and spitting it out. It really goes in and deeply gets, like when you cook, you let the sauce marinate for a long time or cook for a long time, and then when it's ready, it's ready. So, so that's a little bit how I work.